Hi everyone, this is Nia and today I'm going to paint these tomatoes on a tablecloth, I guess. I found pictures of flat lays of fruits and veg with a nice colorful pattern in the background, and I just had to paint it in my sketchbook. For this one, I want the edges to be nice and clean since I won't be painting every single corner. And then I'm just going to secure it with a clip. So on the left here was the image that I first saw. I left the combination of red and blue as the background, but I feel like the color wasn't vibrant enough, and I feel like those small cherry tomatoes lacks character. I want the tomatoes to be a bit uneven and wonky. So I searched separately for pictures of tomatoes and I found this one. I really like the shadows and the uneven shape, and I also like that they're facing in different directions. For mine though, I want to only include 3 instead of 4 pieces, so I'm not going to draw the one right at the back. Firstly, I wanted to make sure that I place all 3 right at the center of the page because I feel like the accuracy matters in this type of composition. So I started in the beginning by just drawing circles just to get the placement right. Then I mold the circles into the uneven shapes of the tomatoes. Then once I'm happy, I then indicate the stems and build the details from here. The leaves have 5 points, and I want to make sure I follow some of the curves and folds of the leaves in the reference photo. But for some, if I don't like the placement of the leaves, especially some of the foreshortened ones, I feel like they look a bit awkward painted, I'm just going to make something up myself. Personally, I didn't mind drawing these tomatoes because I just love food illustration, but for those of you who doesn't enjoy drawing these and want to jump straight into painting, I'll have the outline in my coffee shop. I also want to indicate where the highlights are going to be so I can avoid painting on those areas later on. Lastly, I'm going to draw the outline of the hard shadows so I know where to stop the paint. I'm only going to sketch the tomatoes. Next, let's go over the colors. Firstly, this is Cobalt Blue Hue by Holbein, Permanent Yellow Deep by Holbein, Vermilion by Holbein, Crimson Lake by Holbein, Indigo by Schmincke, and for the additional highlight, I'm going to use Bleed Proof White by Dr. P.H. Martins. Now let's start to paint. I was only trying to get the feel of it on this first tomato, but after this one, I feel like it would be best to start with just a clean damp brush to dampen the surface before adding color instead of adding a tint of yellow. Then after this, I would start adding the vermilion. I'm using a medium to thick consistency here, spreading it on the darkest areas of the tomatoes while still trying to leave a bit of the area of the highlight that we've indicated in the sketch. When I'm damp at the surface, I try to not dampen right to the very edge, especially around the small corners. Then when we come back with the paint, that's where we'll start connecting the paint and the damp surface, which is why I started painting around the tiny little corners in between the leaves. And because the surface is still damp, the wet paint will travel through the damp area, which will smooth out the surface instead of creating harsh lines. For For this first one, while the surface is still damp, I decided to add the darker colors, but I find that it's better to wait for it to dry and just paint another layer, so that's what I'm going to do for the next two tomatoes. Here, as I mentioned before, I was just trying things out, but because the surface was too wet, I feel like the darker colors ended up blooming too much. I tried adding a little bit of indigo into some Crimson Lake, but since the paint was spreading too much, I feel like that would be too dark, so I'm going to work with a deeper red, which is from Crimson Lake, with some vermilion. You can see because I've applied it in different dampness of the paint, and now the surface is a little bit uneven, which is what I'm going to try to avoid when I'm painting the next tomatoes. So for this one, instead of piling the colors straight on, I'm going to start with a damp surface, and I'm only going to use vermilion first. You see that I tried to avoid the highlighted area that I drew out, but most of the paint kind of traveled inwards. But I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to let it dry and move on to the next tomato. I'm going to apply the paint in the same method by dampening the surface and just using vermilion to paint the tomatoes while leaving the highlighted areas. This time I felt a bit more comfortable applying the paint, so I wasn't too scared of putting more pressure since I already have a better idea of where to place the paint. Once I'm done with this one, I'm going to dry everything off, and this will be the first layer before adding on the darker values. Now I'm going to go back to the first tomato. I feel like because I've already included other colors, this lacks a bit of vibrancy, so I'm going to go back in with a medium consistency vermilion. And this time I'm not going to dampen the surface beforehand, so you'll see that the edges are fairly harsh, but that's okay since the paint is transparent and we can still see the base color. And once I get towards the darker parts, I'm going to build in the darker values straight away with the colors. Next, I'm going to go in straight with some Crimson Lake, and you'll see a little bit of light at the bottom of this tomato, so I'm going to leave that line as the base color for now. Once I've established the position, then I'm going to soften the edges using a clean damp brush. I feel like the surface can still take a bit more paint, so I'm going to go in with the even darker value. This is from a mix of Crimson Lake with a little bit of indigo. Once I've applied some at the bottom, then I'm going to go in with a slightly thicker consistency and a really light brush load to paint on some of the shadows underneath the leaves. And for this, I do want to make sure that the base is almost dry so the paint doesn't bloom out too much. Now for the second and third one, I'm going to use vermilion first to increase the saturation for the overall tomato. And I've also left out that bottom bit where the lowlights are going to be at the bottom of the tomato. As for the rest, I'm going to just paint it using this color, playing with the consistency depending if the area is darker or lighter. At the bottom you can see a line of dark red, so here I'm using Crimson Lake with some vermilion in a thick consistency just to outline the bottom. And I'm going to let this dry and move on to the third tomato, and I'm going to apply the paint more or less the same way as before, looking at the highlights and the lowlights to avoid them before adding in the darker values on a new layer. Okay, going back to the second tomato again, now I'm going to add the darker value colors. This is from Vermilion and Crimson Lake, and I'm going to apply it at the shadow area where I can find it in the reference. And again, I'm painting this on a dry surface so you can see the edges are quite harsh. And to soften those edges, I just use a clean damp brush. And that's it. I'm going to apply the same thing for the last tomato as well. On the last layer, I'm going to add the darkest values, but on the first one, because I've already added the indigo mix with Crimson Lake, I just use Crimson Lake now to enhance the saturation. But for the next two, I'm going to use the indigo and Crimson Lake mixture, painting it the same way as before on a dry surface. Then I'm going to use a clean damp brush to soften and blend some of the edges. While we add this final layer, sometimes it might look out of place because this is very dark compared to the surrounding white of the paper, but that's okay, it'll look better once we add the other colors. Before we paint the leaves, I decided to add extra shadows underneath some of them. And again, this is from the same mix of Indigo and Crimson Lake, but I'm using a slightly thicker consistency now. Now let's move on to paint the leaves and the stems of the tomatoes. For the base color, I'm going to use a mix of indigo and permanent yellow deep, with more permanent yellow deep in the ratio because indigo is quite a strong color. I'm just going to use this color to paint the base of all the stems and leaves, and I'm just painting it all in one go. Once I'm done with the base of the leaves, I'm going to dry them off completely before adding on the second layer with the darker values. Since the shadows are on the bottom left, I'm going to paint whatever is facing the bottom left with the darker value. This is from the same mixture, but with more indigo in the ratio. When you're painting on these tiny areas, it's good to have a really light brush load. This way you can control the flow of paint and paint using the tip of your brush for very tiny spaces, or you can also use a smaller brush for this. That's it for the tomatoes. Next, I'm going to paint the cast shadows using a mix of indigo and Crimson Lake. You can see the color is much darker compared to what we used on the tomatoes. This is because I have more indigo in the ratio. I like to start by using a light to medium consistency. I try to use a slightly thicker consistency closer to the tomatoes. Then while the surface is still damp, I dot in a bit more indigo right under the tomatoes, and I use a clean damp brush to soften the edges. I want the cast shadow to be quite strong because we are going to be painting the checkered pattern on top of this, so you'll see me adding a bit more indigo. For the blue pattern, I'm going to use pure cobalt blue hue because this is a different blue to the indigo. It's also a very bright blue, which I think would contrast the red of the tomatoes really well. And I've switched to my filbert brush. This is because I don't have the right size flat brush, but I feel like using a flat brush would be much easier. But of course, you can still paint the lines using a round brush as well. In the beginning, I initially wanted the checker pattern to just be very simple, with the line weight being all exactly the same. But after the first line, I feel like my line weight was a bit too heavy, so I decided to alternate a thin and thick line vertically first. After I did the whole page, I actually quite like how this looks. However, because I'm not going to paint anything else for the background, if I take off the masking tape afterwards, the right and the left side would be kind of uneven because there's no paint going right to the corner. So I decided to turn this into a checkered pattern instead, but for the horizontal lines, I'm just going to do the same line weight. I'm not sure if you noticed, but as I was painting the lines over the cast shadows of the tomatoes, I decided to go over the lines a couple of times, so just another layer on top to define the color and make it darker. After painting on the background pattern, the cast shadows needs a bit more definition, so I'm just going to paint over them again. I'm painting on a smaller section than before, then I'm just going to use a clean damp brush to join those two layers together. I felt like I was done here, so I decided to take off the masking tape. But looking at this again, I wanted the tomatoes to look extra shiny and glossy, which is why I decided to enhance the highlights with a little bit of bleed-proof white right at the very end. I also decided to enhance the lowlights by using a thin consistency of the bleed-proof white under the tomatoes. I'm just going to paint over this light part because the curve is out of place, but that's basically it for this one. I was super happy with how this turned out. I love food illustration, and painting something bright and cheery just made my day, and I hope this is something that you'll enjoy as much as I did. Like usual, the list of tools as well as my social media links will be in the description box. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye!